And I remember speaking to you in the aftermath of you fighting Lomachenko, and some of the things that Ben was saying there about non-punch activity was a few of the things that you were bringing up there. And thinking about what this guy's going to be doing burns your head out. The mental stress that you put yourself under when you're in the ring with someone like Lomachenko is absolutely off the scale.
Honestly, I thought Ben held it perfect then. It's constantly got you thinking, and thinking makes you tired. I always remember, I've said it to you before, Russ Abner, who's in the Lomachenko camp and USIC camp, he does the hands and the cuts. I remember a few years back, he was talking to me, telling me, this was before there was ever any chance of me fighting him. He said, he's been around boxing a long time, real boxing man. He said, he's the best I've ever seen. He says, he's like he's planning moves 3 or 4 moves ahead. He's seeing them 20 seconds before they happen. And that's what I feel like. And, you know, Ben mentioned it there, like his non-punching activity. He's constantly got you thinking, and the judging of the distance, the way he'll switch it up. It's that's what makes him so hard to read. And listen, if you can deal with that, then you're in with a chance. But like you just said, then knowing it and then dealing with it sort of firsthand in real life is much different.
From watching Lomachenko on TV and preparing for Lomachenko in the gym, compare that to actually being stood across from the guy.
Oh, comparing them. Listen, I think, you know, you're watching it and then, listen, he's a very unique, special fighter. You can't, there's no, you know, with a lot of fighters, you'll get one sparring partner who can replicate that fighter, you know, to a decent level. Whereas with Lomachenko, there's so many things he can do. You need 3 or 4 sparring partners, and that's what we had. And I think that's what everyone sort of has, really, who's preparing for him, because there's not one fighter out there who does so many things well that Lomachenko does. But I think with him, like, I was surprised at a few things. I always think, you know, going to the fight, and you've probably heard me say it before, I wish now, I think the plan was to sort of, for a few rounds, so I was never going to outbox Lomachenko, but to sort of box off him a bit, make him fall short a little bit, and then take chances a little bit more, and then I could exchange with him. We've seen the bull matador, you know, type many a times where people think, oh, I'm just going to put it on him, Vasyl. And we thought, we don't want to be that guy. And listen, if I'd done that, I might have gone quicker, but I do wish, I think I would have gone, you know, to try and put Lomachenko on the back foot earlier. But like I said, it might have happened earlier, might have been flattened earlier. But I just think obviously the way he judges the distance is unbelievable. He hits harder than he expected, but what he does, he dresses his power up. And again, that was something that speaking to Russ Abner about, and he said, no, what he'll do, he'll vary the power up very quickly. You know, he might touch, hard shot, touch, hard shot, and he hits spaces. He hits spaces very well, and he finds those spaces. He creates those spaces. But I think actually being in there with him and watching, you know, even when you're watching him, you're thinking, wow. But I think when you're sort of, you can go in with all the plan in the world, but then it's sort of keeping a cool head, which I didn't do. You know, once he's putting that into action.
Yeah, like Lomachenko, not only does he give you so many different looks, attack you in so many different ways, from so many positions, so many angles. He attacks you at different speeds, different power. Yeah. It's so hard then. You don't know when to brace, when not to brace. And this is what I'm talking about. And he explains it, Lomachenko himself, is you're playing to his music. So therefore, he's making you tense all the time because he's the one in charge. So he knows when he can lighten up, when he can relax a little bit, when he can conserve a little bit of energy, when he's going to put his foot on the gas. And the hard thing is, you have to, if you think of it as a vocal conversation, he's constantly saying to you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you decide to do this, I'm going to do this. And therefore, it's so hard. But you have to be the one to then take control of that conversation, if you're thinking of it as a vocal conversation, and say, I'm going to ask you a question. What are you going to do if I do this? And then you can start to dictate and take control of the conversation from there. But like you say, it's a lot easier said than done.
Anthony, come on. Can't have you on without a prediction, mate. How do you think this plays out? And I want precision, mate. I want rounds. If you think there's going to be a stoppage, if you think it's going to go the distance, come on, son, give it to me.
Right, I think is, you know, you're seeing things that are getting said in the build-up, and Lomachenko does. It seems like he's took things a little bit personal, And I think that is he's going to come out and he's going to look to put it on Lopez. He's going to look to put it on Lopez, which might swing into Lopez's favour. This is the chance where I don't see anyone outboxing Lomachenko, but I know Salido out-hustled him a little bit, probably with the help of hitting below the belt a few times as well. But
and Lomachenko's a different fighter now as well. Completely different fighter now.
Man, totally different, isn't he? It was always ambitious in the second fight, no matter how good he was. But I think if he, I don't believe he'll hold his feet, but if he looks to put it on Lopez a little bit more, he might be there to be hit. And Lopez, there's no denying Lopez is a world-class puncher. You know, you picked up purpose, you know, that right hand, what Linares timed him onto, whether it's complacency. If Lopez hits him with that same shot, could we be in for a big shot? Well, some people might not see it as a shot, but it's could we be in for that once Lomachenko sort of walks onto one of those right hands from Lopez? It could be very different from Linares. But I believe, you know what I do believe? I believe that Lomachenko is going to target the body. Lopez is big at the weight. There's no denying that. And I think after this, he might move up in weight and win a world title at a different weight. Obviously not if you and your man's about, Ben, but you know where I'm going with that. But yeah, I believe he's going to hit the body. I believe he's going to hit the body and he's going to hit it hard. I believe he's going to. I think he's going to look to go on the front foot a little bit. Lomachenko might be totally wrong, and I think he's going to look to go on the front foot, and he's going to invite. You know, when we talk about that non-punching activity that Ben was on about and described perfect. I think he's going to be teasing Lopez to throw, and I think he's going to taunt him, and he's going to look to humiliate him, because I think that's what he does. He does that a lot. He'll look to humiliate Lopez, and make him feel what he does. Lomachenko. It makes you feel a little bit useless, making you miss with shots. He'll let you know when he's hit you with a good shot, whether it be the hand go out or whether he'll do a dance with his legs or whatever it be that. And I think every good shot he knows he lands, he's going to let Lopez know that he knows he's landed, if you know what I mean. And I see him busting Lopez up, and I think around 8-9 rounds we're going to see whether it be a towel or a stoppage. That's what I believe. I think we're going to see a statement from Lomachenko on Saturday night, and a big one. I'm going Lomachenko big, and I rate Lopez highly. I really do, but I just believe he's going to catch up with him, and he's going to look. I think he's going to look to put a beating on him. Like I say, I see a little bit of taunting and stuff like that, and I just believe he's going to go out there and he's going to look to put on a proper show.
So Mr. Crolla thinks it's going to be a relentless performance from Lomachenko. Embarrassment, humiliation is what he's talking about there, Ben. Is that how you're seeing it, mate?
Do you know what? It's a real difficult one. I mean, as we spoke about on the breakdown there, I think that if Teofimo does start resorting to the shoulder roll stance, it will really, really quickly become a real tough night for him. If you go back to Floyd Mayweather versus Zab Judah, Floyd attempted the same thing early in that fight and had to then change and make an adjustment through that. And went to the conventional guard and had to start taking it to Zab. The difference is, I think that if Teofimo starts like that against Lomachenko, he'll be too far behind and too bewildered and too puzzled to make that adjustment. So I think the early part of the fight's an interesting one. And of course, like I pointed out before, I think it's key that Lomachenko doesn't get complacent. But it's a real difficult one. I wouldn't be surprised if Lomachenko really, really takes over, starts going through the gears, and it becomes a one-sided dominant performance. But I wouldn't be overly surprised if he gets a little bit complacent and walks into one as well.
Mate, listen, you two talking about this fight has got everybody salivating. Should be an absolute cracker. And thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. And thank you very much for building us up towards Lomachenko versus Lopez, former lightweight world champion there, Anthony Crolla, who shared a ring with Vasyl Lomachenko last year, joining us on the show.